All right. Hi. That was awkward because it's the first video. I don't really know what I'm doing. But anyways, I was told on TikTok to start a YouTube channel. I've actually been wanting to start one for years, but I just never have. I'm definitely gonna embarrass myself a lot, so that's fun. So this is my story of how I found out and told my mom and everything that I was pregnant at 16. So it's July now. It's July 11th. And it was probably about the beginning of March, middle of March, I don't know. It was March when it went down. But I thought I was pregnant because I'm not gonna get into all the details like that, but definitely thought I was pregnant. So I waited a week after the conception, possible conception or whatever, and I took a test. It was negative. I waited a few days, so it was like 10 or 11 days after. I took another test. It was negative. And then I waited a few more days to take the third test, and it was also negative. And it was a relief, whatever. And so I just went on with my daily life. I remember it was April 7th. I went to work and I stopped by Walgreens on the way home. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take another test just to be positive. It's been a few weeks. I wasn't having any symptoms or anything. And I went home and I brought food from work. So I took the test and I set it on the counter and I went to go eat my food because I was like, oh, I'm not pregnant. This was just to make sure. And I ate my food and I came back and I looked at it, and let me tell you, oh my God. So it was positive and I was just in complete shock and I didn't know what to do. And I was like, okay, well, maybe it's wrong. So I took another one. And then it came three in the pack. And that one was also positive. And I was like, all right, well, I'll take the third one. If it's positive, then I'll figure out what to do. So I took the third one. It was positive. And by now I'm like freaking out. I don't know what to do. So I texted my boyfriend. I literally texted him and I told him, I don't even know what I said. Basically, I told him that I took a few tests and that I'm pregnant, and I sent him a picture and everything. And I'm sitting here freaking out, and he's telling me to calm down. By the way, I'm still with him. Everything's good. So, yeah, he was supportive. He's still supportive, him and his family. But I'm like freaking out. I don't know what to do. My mom's gonna kill me. I'm thinking the worst of everything. And so I get in my car and I text my brother and I'm like, where are you at? I need to come talk to you. Because I didn't know who else to go to. And me and my brother, we've been close, so he told me where he was at, and I went and met up with him. And I told him. And then he thought it was funny. So it didn't give me any advice, nothing. So then I was like, all right, well, who should I tell now? I need help. I don't know what to do. So I'm just sitting in my car, like in disbelief. And I call my aunt. And I basically told her what happened. And she told me I just need to go to the doctors and have them confirm the pregnancy and everything. And she was trying to get me to calm down too. And she was already asking me about like abortion or adoption or whether I was planning on keeping it. And I was like, I don't know. I just found out like 30 minutes ago. Still freaking out. So she told me that whenever I wanted to go to the doctor, she lives like an hour away from me. So she said she would go with me. So I didn't want to waste any time. So the next day, I told my mom I was going to work, but I actually drove down to where my aunt lives, and we made an appointment to go see the doctor that day. And we went up there, and I was terrified, and because of the corona, you know, I had to go in alone, which was even scarier. Like, I'm 16, I just found out I was pregnant, my mom's gonna kill me, my life's over. That's what I was thinking. And so finally we get to the doctor. It takes me like a good 15 minutes to work up the courage to go inside. And then I go inside and they ask me some questions like, when was your last period, and like all this stuff. And I honestly didn't even know. I was just saying random stuff, still freaking out. And then they did a pregnancy test. I went to the bathroom, you know, gave them a urine sample, and they sent me in this room. And I'm just sitting here waiting for the doctor to come back, and it felt like forever. And she came back in. She was holding the test, and she was also holding a paper and a book. And just looking at that, like seeing that she was holding all of that, I was like, I'm pregnant. And then she told me, she sat there, she said, well, congratulations, you're about 6 weeks pregnant. And I was just sitting there, I was like, I almost started bawling my eyes up. I had no idea what to do or say. And then she gave me this pregnancy book and got the paper printed out confirming the pregnancy and gave me the test and basically told me what to do, gave me advice, everything. And then after all that, I went back out to the car where my aunt was, and she was like super anxious waiting for me to come out. And so I went out, and I was smiling when I walked up to the car. And then her window was rolled down, and my uncle was also in the car. He was in the back seat. I was driving, and he was like, oh, she's got to be pregnant. And so I get there, and I sit down. I don't say a word. I just hand her the test, and she's looking at it, and she's like, well, Cheyenne, you're pregnant. And then she starts asking me about abortion and like all this stuff. I personally don't believe in abortion. I knew right away I was not going to do that. It was terrifying. I didn't know what to do. I just knew I was not going to get an abortion. And so I took them home. After I talked to them a bit about what to do, how to tell my mom, and I was gonna wait. Like, I was just gonna keep it a secret for as long as I could. But on the other hand, I also wanted to make sure that me and my baby were both healthy. And it was not a plan at all. I changed back into my work clothes because, you know, I was at work. And I drove home. And I had the baby book, the test, and the paper confirming the pregnancy. And I texted my mom, and I was like, she's working from home right now, so I texted her, and I was like, are you home? What are you doing? Are you busy right now? Can you take a break? And she's like, yeah, why? And I just told her to go sit at the dining room table, and she was so confused, and I probably sounded really weird. And so I grabbed my stuff, and I walked in, and she looked at me, and I just looked at her, and I like slowly walked up to her, and I just set it in front of her. And then she like looked at it, and she looked at me, and she looked back down at the table, and she was like, we're not doing this. You can't possibly think you're gonna have a baby at 16, 17. And she's like, we're gonna call Planned Parenthood and we're gonna get you an abortion. And she was so mad. And by then, I'm like, I didn't say a word. I walked up to my room, I just started crying. I had no idea what to do. So anyways, after that, I'm like texting my boyfriend, like telling him everything that's going on. And I told him like I didn't want to have an abortion, and he supported my decision. And he was happy about it, actually, which I was really surprised. Like he wasn't, I don't know what I expected to happen, but that was definitely not it. And so I told my mom I was gonna make the appointment for the abortion. I didn't. I told her I did. I told her it was for the following Wednesday at like 8 o'clock in the morning or whatever. I just made up some random time. And she was like, okay, well, you're on lockdown until this is taken care of. So you can only go to work and home. And other than that, your keys are mine. You cannot go anywhere. And I was like sitting there. I just used this to buy me some time till I figured out what to do. My mom said if I had the baby, she was gonna kick me out. So at that point, I'm sitting there trying to figure out where I'm gonna go, and it was scary. Like, I didn't want to leave my house. I didn't want to move away. I didn't want to do any of that. But I ended up moving in with my grandma, who lived like 45 minutes from me. My mom took my car. It was like the following day, she packed up all my stuff, and my brother drove me to my grandma's house. So once I'm there, I, me and my grandma, we used to be really close. At this point, we barely know each other. So it was really awkward, first of all. And I don't know, I just felt really uncomfortable. But I moved all my stuff in, and she drove me to work, which was like 2 hours for her there and back every day. So I went to stay with my boyfriend for a few days because I hadn't seen him in like 2 weeks. So his mom asked me if she wanted to pick me up and surprise him. So I did, and I grabbed some things because I didn't know when I was coming back. I was planning on staying there like a couple days. And then they helped get me to work and back to their house every day. And I ended up staying there for like a week. And then my boyfriend, I'm not going to go into details, but he went to the hospital, which made it really difficult on me. And I felt really awkward because now I'm just in his house with his mom and his brothers, and I don't know, really uncomfortable. Yeah, I basically just stayed in his room the entire time. And then he came back, everything's good, and then he left again, and he is still gone. This was the beginning of May he left, and he's still gone. He comes back in a couple weeks. Him going away, it has really messed with my mental health. And so I ended up going to the hospital, and they kept me for I was there for 2 days. And then the social worker called my mom because I was 16 and I couldn't, they couldn't release me from the hospital without my mom. My mom told the social worker she wanted me to come home, which I thought it was a terrible idea. But I also didn't want to be at my boyfriend's house without him there, and just being in his room when I don't know when he's gonna be back, when it could be months before he's back. I knew that was also not good for my mental state, and it was just gonna make me sad. And again, I wanted to be healthy, myself and my baby. So I went home, and when I got home, my brother had taken my room and my furniture and everything. So I still do. I sleep on the couch. And I've been here for about, since like the end of May. And at the May 23rd, I turned 17. So I'm 17 now. But it was really awkward coming back home. And it just took a while to actually feel like it was my house still. Even though like my mom, my brother were here, I just felt like I was living in somebody else's life. It was weird. But everything is fine now. So my mom, she's still not like, she's more supportive of the situation. I'm currently 17 weeks and 2 days. And I found out a couple weeks ago that I'm having a baby girl, which I actually thought was a boy. I took the early like DNA test at, it was like 8 or 9 weeks, and they detected Y chromosomes in my blood and told me it was a boy. So I announced that it was a boy. And so I had gotten some boy clothes as gifts and everything, but then I went to the ER one day at work, and they did an ultrasound and blood test, and they told me it was a girl. And then I was shocked. Like, I didn't know what to think. I didn't really care what the gender was as long as they were healthy. My boyfriend, I know he wanted a boy, but I'm really happy that it's a girl, actually. I'm gonna name her Aviel. My due date is December 16th. But so it's like 5 months, which 5 months actually isn't a long time. The past 4 months and however many weeks, whatever, since I found out I was pregnant has flown by. And I'm getting a baby bump. I'm gonna put in a picture. It's still pretty stressful, but it's a lot easier than it was. I've started figuring things out. I mean, like, I bought a crib, a car seat. I've started buying everything because I was also scared about the money. But I work a full-time job, and I've been working to be able to buy all the things needed. And then my mom's selling her house in a couple months, and she is going to live on her own. So that means right now it's me, her, my brother, my brother's girlfriend, and my brother's best friend. So that means we all have to leave, which, again, I'm 17. I can't get an apartment. I can't do any of that. So that's the only part that I'm still, like, really nervous about. And I'm terrified of giving birth. But even though it was hard and I had to go through a lot to get to where I am right now and actually be happy with everything going on, it was hard. But I'm so happy with my decision, and my baby is healthy. She's good. She's growing fast. I've gained 13 pounds. I started at 98 pounds. I weigh like between 111 and 112. I was just sharing my story to help out anyone else in this situation. I know when I found out, I definitely did watch other people's videos for some advice. And this video was also requested on TikTok when I said I was making a YouTube channel. That's the end of the video. This is awkward too, I don't know how to end the videos. But like, subscribe, follow me on my social media. It will be linked down below.